podcast Between Two Cabins. I am your host, Jim Butler, also known as Pepaw Graybeard. As you can see, I'm doing a single podcast. My brother Benj is going to take a break for a while, and I'm going to come at you today, and we're going to talk about my favorite sport, football. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably watched the playoffs over the weekend. I was excited to sit down and watch them. It was great. None of my favorite teams were in there, but the Patriots are going to take on the Seahawks in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl. I am pulling for the Seahawks. They got a great defense. Their offense is looking better. And I think they can handle the Patriots. But we will see. I'm eager to see how well both teams play in such a big game. Now, as far as football goes, I've been playing football since I was 8 years old. At the time, we had a freshman team at my high school, and they let 8th graders play on the football team. So I went out for football. It's the first time I ever played organized football in my whole life. I really didn't know what to expect. I was a big football fan. We played out in the yard and stuff, but it had nothing to do with playing as a team. I was kind of a chubby kid, slow, didn't really have much athletic ability at the time. So I tried out and made the team. They put me on the line, of course, because I was probably 160 pounds when I was in 8th grade. So they put me on the line. I played offense and defensive line. Did fairly well. It was all new to me. I didn't really understand the terminology. I didn't understand the techniques at the time that the coaches were trying to show me. So we had a decent team, a freshman team. We won a couple games. We lost a few games. I got to play a little bit, but not a lot. So after the season was over, I decided, well, I want to continue playing. So then the following season, Valley Olympics started. The Jets had a team where we could play even though we were going into the 9th grade. So my friends decided we all were going to join the Jets and play, even though we were in the 9th grade. I feel like I needed more experience. So we joined the Jets, and I got the experience I needed to play offense and defensive line. I learned a lot through that whole season. We had a great team. We went to the playoffs. We won a couple playoffs games, but we also lost in the championship game. At the time, I had a back injury, and it was kind of messing with me, and I wouldn't be able to play real well. I remember they did an onside kick to me. I grabbed it. The guy hit me in my bad back, and I fumbled. And then that was the end of the game. So I was disappointed in that injury, but I kept playing the best I could, and I was looking forward to the following year of being in 10th grade and moving up to JV and varsity football. Well, the following season came. I signed up, of course, for the JV and varsity football at Valley High School. My coaches seemed like they liked me, and they were putting me in more of the scrimmages, even though I really didn't know what I was doing that well. They put me at nose tackle or nose guard, and that position you play on defense right on the center, or sometimes you get in the A gap or the B gap. Okay, so they put me there, and I was quick off the ball, but I still didn't understand the technique about staying low. Every time the ball snapped, I had a bad habit of raising up and exposing my body to the offensive line. So when that happened, the senior center, he drilled me right in the chest. And I laid on the ground gasping for air for like 2 minutes. It seemed like, man, that hurt so bad. I've never been hit that hard in high school before. And it just totally took all the wind out of me. Well, I recovered from that, and I finally started getting a little bit lower, like, hey, man, you better get down a little bit or you're going to get nailed every play. So we were getting ready for a scrimmage. We were getting ready to take on Meade County, which is down in Brandenburg, Kentucky. And at the last minute, getting ready to go to the game, the coaches decided they were going to start me with the varsity at nose guard on defense. And I was a nervous wreck. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're starting me. You know, I'm in 10th grade. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not real good. I'm not real strong yet. So we got down to Brandenburg, and we scrimmaged. It was just a scrimmage, so it didn't count. We got down there and we played them, and they were running a wing T type offense. And what that consists of, they had 3 backs in the backfield. So not only was I trying to fight off the center, I was also trying to fight off the fullback and trying to hold my ground to make tackles. It wasn't very easy at all. I had a terrible game. Terrible game. I was getting double teamed almost the whole game. And, you know, even though I didn't have a good game, the coaches said, you know, hang in there, keep working hard and stuff like that. But I learned to start staying low, and I played better. I did not start varsity, but I started JV, and we had some good games. We won some, lost some. We were playing on a Friday night. We were playing Bishop David High School, big Catholic high school that was so good in football. It was unreal. I mean, they were awesome. Well, they were blowing us out like 50-6. I mean, it was just a massacre. So the coaches started unloading everybody off the bench. Well, I got to go out there and play on defense, and I ended up getting like 3 quarterback sacks and a bunch of tackles, and I can hear my name being echoed on the speaker, like tackle by Butler. You know, I was all excited about that, and it really boosted my confidence, and I really thought then, you know, maybe this football thing can work out for you, you know, but we'll see, you know. So we finished the season, and during the season, the off season, we had a weightlifting program, and I worked out all the time with the coaches and stuff, and they were doing us a lot of power lifting, like squats and power cleans and deadlifts. We were doing a lot of that type stuff, trying to get the strength in the legs and the upper body, because offensive linemen need that kind of strength in their legs and mid-body and stuff to move people. Well, they had segregated busing at the time. And I got bused up to Butler High School in Shively. I tried to get out of it by saying, hey, Butler doesn't have wrestling. I wrestled at Valley High School. Is there any way I can stay at Valley so I can wrestle? But they didn't go for that. So I got bused up to Butler. Now, at the time, Butler had just won the state championship in football. They were really good. And I'm thinking, man, there's no way I'll be able to even, you know, play or start with this team. I mean, it's the Butler Bears, one of the best states in the state of Kentucky, one of the best teams. So me and my buddy Steve, he was also with me. We get bussed up there to Butler. We get information. There's going to be summer camp start, football and stuff. And I went out and they put me at an offensive guard. And also they had me start snapping punts and field goals. So each day I would go out before practice started, and I would work with the senior punter and the kicker, and I would snap long snap to the punter and field goal kicker, like 45 minutes before practice. I was out there snapping. So I think they were trying to train me to be a long snapper because I wasn't that big at the time. I weighed 185 pounds, 190 maybe. I was starting to put on a little muscle, but not much. But I did work out hard that summer to prepare myself to go to Butler and play football. Well, the first season, we had a great team when I was there as a junior, and we went to the state playoffs. We got to play on artificial turf at the original Cardinal Stadium, and I've never done that before, and it was unreal being out there playing on turf. And I always, people always ask me, what's it feel like playing on artificial turf? And I would tell them it's like playing football in the street. You talk about grip. You got good grip, and then but when you get hit and land on the stuff, it's like landing on concrete. And you get a lot of turf burns, they call them, and stuff. But we end up losing that season to one of the Catholic schools, and our season was over. But we had a good JV team. We went undefeated, and I got to play center most of the time in JV. And then I'd also play defensive tackle on defense on JV. So once the season ended, we started a weightlifting program at Butler, and also did track and field, shot put, and disc. We trained hard, and I wanted to get bigger and faster and stronger. I never was that fast, but one of the funniest things about it, though, they would call me backwards Butler because I ran faster backwards than I did forwards. This is the funniest thing. The coaches always got a kick out of it because I would race people backwards and beat them. I don't know why I was so fast going backwards, but I just was. But going into my senior year at Butler, I trained so hard because I wanted to start and maybe get a chance to get a scholarship to a small school and play football in college. Well, we trained so much during the summer. It was so hot. And then we lifted a lot, not only at school, but I also lifted a lot with my buddy Steve. We try to stay in shape. Then came time for camp. They tested us on a 12-minute run to see how many miles you can do in 12 minutes. And it was great. I was in great shape. I think I ran almost 3 miles in 12 minutes at the time. And the coaches were just amazed how good a shape I was in. I worked hard. I was still snapping punts and field goals. Me and another senior was. We were both taking turns doing it, He ended up doing the field goals, and I ended up doing the punts. So that worked out real well. We played, I started at offensive guard. We played my old high school Valley, and I was playing against my best friend that I grew up with. He would line up across from me and talk trash to me all the time and stuff. And he goes, "I'm going to get you, Jim. I'm going to get you." We always had good times with that because I would snap the punt or something and then run downfield, and we're sitting there blocking each other and, just trash talking each other, having a good time. but they wasn't very good, and we were. We won like 10 games that year. We went into the playoffs. It was great. We got to go back out to the turf again. I was playing against people that were so much bigger and stronger than me. Back then, when I played in the early 80s, if a guy weighed 230 pounds, he was huge. And that's what some of these linemen were. They weighed 230 pounds, 235 pounds. And at the time, I weighed 185 pounds. I was very quick off the ball. That's what helped me get into my blocks fast, because I was quick off the ball. But we played Trinity, we played St. X, and we beat those teams. And then we had to face DeSales, which was another Catholic school powerhouse. Well, that game went into overtime, 21-20, and we lost. It was devastating. I just couldn't believe we lost. Football season was over, and I just went into kind of a depressed mood about it, because I didn't know if I was going to play anymore. It was a bummer. It really was. It was kind of a weird situation with us losing 21-20, because the kick that we made on the field goal to tie it looked like it was good, but it was called bad. So it was one of those that went right over the goalpost. So it could have went either way. So we lost the game 21-20. Like I said, it was devastating. It was a great year. I had a good season. I ended up getting all district at my position, which was great. I loved it, and I thank God for that. And then we had a football banquet, and then I got outstanding offensive lineman, and I was totally in shock, because I didn't think I would earn that. You know what I mean? Me and another guy got it, and I was so pleased with that. And my high school coaches were telling me, you really got to work hard if you want to try to get to the next level in college. You know what I mean? So I began to work out a lot, run and stuff like that. My coaches were friends with some coaches at Morehead State University, and they were trying to get me a walk-on tryout, and they did, and it was great. I tried to I sent some letters out to some smaller schools, but I got rejected for those. But I did go to Morehead State University, and we had a big walk-on tryout at the stadium, and there was like 100 and so people there. I thought, oh my gosh. And there was a lot of people bigger than me. I did gain some weight and some muscle. I was up to 225, 230 at the time. So they had me, we were running drills and stuff, doing agilities, and then they had me start snapping punts and field goals. So I made the team as a long snapper. So they kept me as a long snapper. When you're a freshman in college and you make the team, usually you're redshirted, and that's what I was. So we were on the team called the scout team, and what that consists of, we would run the opponent's plays to get our defense and offensive ready for the next game. So that's what we were on. We were on the scout team. So basically, we were blocking dummies. We'd go out there and run the opponent's plays. Sometimes we did pretty good against the varsity, but other times they would just squish us like we wasn't nothing. One time I played tight end on the offense, and they sent me across the middle on a pass route, and this all OVC linebacker was a senior. He just knocked me flat on my back, and he goes, "Welcome to college, kid." So I didn't play more tight end after that. I basically stayed with the offensive line as center, guard, and tackle. Any one of those I could play, and usually we rotated around. At the time of the type of offense we had a strong side and a weak side. So sometimes we were the weak side line guard or the strong side guard. So we did that for that season. And then the following season, we got a new coach at the school, and everything totally changed after that. So new offense, a lot of junior college players came in, a lot of transfers. So that put a lot of us back on the depth chart after that. But we were still having fun running the scout team and stuff. Once spring practice came, I was on the second team as an offensive tackle. So I was number 2, which was great. But that didn't last, because once a lot of the following practice started, people moved up, and I eventually left school just because I didn't study enough. So please, if you go to school, make sure you study. I was too busy fishing and goofing off. I didn't take academics serious enough in college like I should have. You know what I mean? I was immature about that, because all I wanted to do was play football. And you can't do that if you're going to school and paying money for it, because I was a walk-on. I didn't have a scholarship. You have to go to class and do your studies and get good grades. You know, most of the time I had a C average. Then one time I got put on academic probation, so I was ineligible to play. You know, and then I ran out of money, so I had to leave school. But after that, it was a while before I got back involved with football. When I was at home, a new league started, and it was the USFL. And I was training a lot at home because I wasn't going to school, and I thought, man, maybe I could get a tryout as a long snapper at the USFL, but nothing never panned out about that. I was disappointed in that. I went back to school, went to Western for a while. I didn't get to play football. For some reason, they told me my eligibility was done. I really don't know what happened with that, but I think it was the Lord's will for me not to play. So I moved on from that. And then I worked at Camp Lucon a lot. We talk about Camp Lucon a lot on the podcast. But the great thing about it, I was working there full time, and football camps were there. So I got to work with Grayson County High School at their football camp. They wanted me to work with the offensive linemen a little bit and the long snappers, because they knew I played a little college ball and stuff like that. So I got to work with them. And then all of a sudden, I mean, this is how good God is, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, I got an offer to be assistant football coach at the high school, because the offensive line coach couldn't coach anymore because of his job or something like that. And so that opened up the door for me to coach for 5 seasons at Grayson County High School. I was a head JV coach, a head freshman coach, assistant varsity coach, offense, defensive line. I love being the head coach of the JV team. It was great, man, because I would call my own plays. I love calling plays. It was great. I love that. And the coaching that I gained through those 5 years, I just loved it. I loved working with the kids. They were great. You know, sometimes, I mean, these are country kids, you know what I mean? And sometimes they come to practice and go, Coach, I can't practice today my dad needs me out in the field to throw hay. I mean, they were big, strong country kids that played. So, most of the time they were excused because, that was their living. They had to help their parents on the farm. But coaching at a country school was interesting because, some of these kids, they never lifted weights a day in their life, but they were strong as oxes. Because working on the farm. And it was great. So I coached there for 5 seasons. Then we moved away. We moved up to Northern Kentucky. I still had the itch to play football, which I shouldn't have. I got interested in arena football, and that's a league that's played on a 50-yard field. It's fast paced. There's a lot of hitting and stuff, and I thought, man, I can play arena football. I can be a center and I can be a nose tackle. Man, where do I try out at? So sure enough, I started training a little bit and stuff. All of a sudden they had these tryouts for the Cincinnati Rockers. I thought, man, I'm gonna try out for them. So I went to the tryout, and it was just like a cut and dry tryout. They ran us through a few drills and stuff like that, and I was talking to the coach. I said, well, I'm a long snapper. And he goes, well, we don't punt. And I didn't know at the time you don't punt in arena football. So that didn't pan out, but it was fun going to the tryout. It was a neat experience and stuff. I really enjoyed that. So I let that go for a while. Football was kind of on the back burner. Then all of a sudden I seen an ad in the paper down the road for a semi-pro team. And I'm thinking, man, I would like to try to play for that. This was in 2001. So I went to one of their practices and see how it was. You had to have your own gear. You don't get paid. You got to pay all your traveling expenses. They do provide your uniforms, and it was so funny. We were called the Kentucky Stallions. Real neat emblems. We played like 12 games, like a whole season, all NFL rules, 15-minute quarters, all that. It was great. I played on the offensive line. I was 37 years old. And, a lot of people are saying, why in the world are you playing football at 37 years old? You've got a wife, 2 kids, you got a maintenance job, you got a kid on the way. Why risk getting out there and getting yourself hurt and maybe not being able to work or something like that? Well, I don't know why I did it. I just thought maybe I can play football, So I played one season with the Stallions in 2001. We had a fun season. We won some games, and then we played some playoff games, and I got to travel to Canton, Ohio. We played a big game up there. That was fun. And then all of a sudden, we were talking about next season, and, all of a sudden the season was over, and then they folded and then started playing again. And then all of a sudden, like 8 or 7 years later, they had a ad in the paper. They were looking for some coaches this time for the Kentucky Stallions. Well, I thought, well, maybe I can be an defensive line coach. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So I answered the ad, and it was the same owner that owned the team when I played on the Stallions in 2001. So I was able to join the team as a offense and defensive line coach. We had a pretty good team back then. A lot of great athletes. One guy ended up signing with Green Bay Packers. That's how good of athletes we had on the team. But we won a few games. We lost a few. I coached from 2009, 2010, and then 2011. We had a team wasn't so good. So I was 47 at the time. They needed a center to snap field goals. I said, okay, I'll try to snap field goals and be a offensive line coach at the same time. So I did that. I played in a few games, which I shouldn't have. I was 47 years old, but I did like it. It was fun. The team ended up folding. We just didn't have a quarterback at all. And they decided they were quitting. And then the other team that was in our area was signing players. So they asked me if I wanted to sign with the Cincinnati Falcons. I said no, probably not, but I changed my mind. But I wasn't playing then, so I decided just to coach. And then I decided not to do it anymore because, family is very important. The kids were growing up, and I didn't want to be away from them and stuff. So I pretty much ended the football career right there at age 47. But I enjoyed playing. I probably shouldn't have played that much when I was that old because, I do get a lot of aches and pains sometimes, but, it was fun. I enjoyed it. But football is a great sport to play. It's a physical sport. It teaches you things, how to play as a team, how to follow directions, how to really push yourself to a next level, how to hang in there when things are tough. It helps build your character. And, I've met a lot of great people playing football and fellowship with Christian athletes, which is great. I love that. I'm just so thankful to God for getting me through that without any, like concussions or serious injury. I never had any blown out knees or anything like that, just bruises and stuff. I did jam my thumb in high school once real bad, but that was no big deal. My coach would tape it up and he would get it so tight. By the time the game started, my thumb would be turning purple. And I would go to the coach and say, Coach, my thumb is turning purple. You tape this too tight. And he would just start laughing. Jim, you gotta be tough. Rah, rah, rah. And he would cut some of the tape off and retape it. Because I had trouble gripping the football when I was snapping. And I looked down and it was all purple looking and stuff. And it was just crazy. It's just too tight, I tried to tell him that, but he finally realized it was and fixed it for me. But, I'm very thankful for God that I got to play football. At one time my son Andrew he tried to play, but he just didn't like it. When you're a dad growing up, you think, oh, my son's going to be an awesome athlete. You had those emotions about it. But he had some bad coaches, and they made the kids practice when it was 100 degrees, which is so silly. Never should have done that. He got bored with it. He did play basketball, but I am so proud of him for going into the ministry and letting God use him. Him and his wife have a gift that they do to the Lord, and it's great. So I'm glad he didn't play football. Even though I wanted him to. But it's great he didn't, because God had another plan for his life. Instead of being an athlete. So, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of stories on a lot of these NFL players. There's a lot of Christians in the NFL. It's great. I love when they put the Lord first in their interviews and talk about what God means to them and how they focus, playing and whatever God has in store for them, they really focus on putting him first and stuff and in the interviews. And I really like that. And I think that's great. So, it's always great watching the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to sitting down, eating some good food, watching the game. My wife Amy always makes great Super Bowl snacks. I can't wait. We were talking the other night about what we were going to have. So I hope that you can get together with your family and watch Super Bowl if you want to do that. If you like football, you may not even like football, but I hope you can get together with your family and have some good food, have a great time, and watch the game and root for your favorite team. Like I said, I'm going for the Seahawks, and my Super Bowl prediction for the Seahawks to win the game 28-21 over the Patriots. So I hope you join us for our next podcast in February. I'm going to talk about some winter backpacking tips. And we also got some food challenges coming up down the road. I want to try some Pop-Tarts and some other things. So I hope you join us on the next podcast, Between Two Cabins. I'm Jim Butler, your host. Have a great evening, and God bless. We love you.